Ruslan. Ruslan.
The question then comes up, what is a reasonable way to deal with this? And again, a lot of misinformation gets spread and gets confusing, right? What am I talking about? Well, the New York Bar Association recently came out. I'm going to get this pinned up for you guys. And they said that, I'll pull this up for you. The New York Bar Association came out, and there's a bunch of stories about it. And they said that they're introducing COVID mandates for the vaccine in the state of New York. And a lot of you freaked out. You sent me the article and said, see, this is the beginning of the end. They're going to use it as a mark of the beast. And people freaked out. Now, what's the reality? The New York Bar Association doesn't write laws, okay? They don't, right? The president, or the president-elect, Joe Biden, has already came out and said that he's not going to be pushing mandating of this vaccine, to the dismay of a lot of people who disagree with him. And the New York Bar Association is not the people who write laws for the state or the country. Now, are they influential? Yes, they are. Yes, they are. But again, this is the kind of stuff that perpetuates misinformation. When you guys post this stuff, when you guys perpetuate this stuff, it creates and stirs fear. It creates and stirs fear. And it's, in my opinion, it's not helpful. It's not helpful. I feel like we need to be more sober about these things. I'm going to pull up a verse. I'm sure all of you guys have read it, or at least have heard about it. But I think it's important for us to go to the scriptures. This is a passage that many of us are familiar with. And again, this is Paul writing to Timothy, and he's talking about walking in one's purpose, walking in one's identity. Therefore, I remind you to stir up the gift of God, which is in you through the laying on of hands. And then he says, for God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of sound mind. And then he goes on to say, therefore, do not be ashamed of the testimony of our Lord, nor of me, his prisoner. Right? But this is a passage we're all familiar with. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of sound mind. If you researching all this stuff is causing you fear, is causing you anxiety, that is not of God. Okay, it's just not. And if you keep perpetuating this news story, which really doesn't have any significance on anybody, right? Again, look how contact tracing worked out. Look how these things are working out. No one's adhering. I mean, people barely want to social distance and wear masks, right? You think they're going to mandate this thing? I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to be that forced, but I think they're going to try to take a PR stand and try to persuade people to do this vaccine. I don't think it's going to be something that's pushed against people in an orderly fashion, right? And I guess eschatology does matter, because if you think Jesus is going to come back any minute now, then yeah, be afraid, I guess. I don't believe that. I think I did a whole thing on end times. You can check out Bible Project on the end times. This stuff should not be causing you fear. This should not be causing you fear. And there should be hope. There should be hope that not everybody agrees on this, right? Not everybody agrees on this. What do I mean? I mean, recently there was a judge in San Diego that decided and said that, you know, the ruling upends that the state of California can mandate some of these, you know, health protocols and some of these lockdowns, right? And it was oddly enough because of the folks who were suing from the strip clubs, saying, hey, listen, there's no correlation to outbreaks in restaurants or strip clubs. There was 2 strip clubs in San Diego that sued, and they were able to get this judge to overturn the lockdown for restaurants in San Diego. And the judge went as far as to say that he doesn't see a correlation between COVID outbreaks, gyms, or restaurants, right? And so the state, this is San Diego, sued the state, and the state is now going to appeal this verdict. Why am I talking about this? I'm talking about this because not everybody is unanimous on this thing. Not everybody who's in the world is like, yay, lockdowns, you know, jack up the economy, mandatory vaccine. We have to look past some of that and acknowledge that there's more to it And there's more nuanced views to it. And so in San Diego, I'm so happy to be in San Diego. I'm proud of San Diego. I wasn't proud of the mayor who disagreed with the judge on this situation, you know. And again, there's a lot of discussion and a lot of division on this topic, right? And I'll give you, here's my tweet to the mayor. Again, just scales, right? The San Diego, what did he say? He said, the city of San Diego is working closely with the county and the state to determine the implications of Judge Willall's ruling. No one wants small businesses to be closed, but the science and data are showing a dire trend. Right. And then he goes on to say that there's no hospital beds in San Diego. And I said, so, Mr. Mayor, since you don't want our small businesses to close, send them relief money so they can survive instead of being okay with the state squandering it. Walthall seems to be the only one acting pragmatically with the lack of correlation between restaurants, gyms, and vid spikes. The pragmatic side of this is if the state or the federal government wants a shutdown, then you support these businesses and let them stay alive in the middle of the shutdown. So whatever they make $100,000 a month, send them $100,000 a month. Don't squander it and let the PPL loans go to these massive corporations. And then it comes out that the freaking governor in San Diego, Governor Newsom, got like $3 million in PPL for his wineries and a couple other businesses that he's the CEO or the LLCs are in his names, right? The sheer hypocrisy in all of this, I think, is what's frustrating people, right? Because most of us aren't anti this or pro this it's just like, listen, let's just be reasonable. Let's be pragmatic. Let's figure this stuff out. Let's be people that come together and engage in a way that like is helpful and gets everybody back on track. And however that looks, if it's rapid testing, if it's a proven safe vaccine, whatever that looks like, we need to do it because I think that will bring some degree of peace and hope. Is it PPP or PPL? Y'all know what I'm talking about. All the loans that were sent out that then they found out there was a bunch of scandals and scams going on and a lot of small businesses didn't get them, right? This stuff is like, this is terrible. Like it's gross mismanagement, right? It's just gross mismanagement. And again, this is the thing that I do see scientists agreeing on, regardless on if they're for or against the lockdowns, is the majority of them are like, hey, guys, we gotta bail these small businesses out. 40%, I think 45% of our GDP, our gross domestic product, is generated by small businesses. Small businesses are considered businesses that have less than 500 employees, right? Less than 500 employees considered a small business. But that restaurant, that cafe, all that stuff are small businesses. You know what I'm saying? All that stuff is small businesses. And so hopefully this is helpful for you guys, just letting you think a little different about it. And let me know what y'all think.
Kingstream Entertainment. Ruslan.
Yeah, conversations front of the fireplace. All of my mistakes, how do I erase? Wanna operate at a higher pace. Birth pains causing the body to dilate. On a first name basis with the worst pain facing. Moments in isolation. See, I was hoping I would do this to get more family time. A busy mind and worried heart, is this not where I reside? I subscribed that all that traveling wasn't doing well for my soul. Glad I never made it when my name went through the rumor mill. I suppose that the Lord knows I'd have failed. Instead I'm doing well at home, out my shell. Good book off the shelf, more dubs off the L's. I told Ray they ain't just gon' know us, they gon' know us well. Happy to have felt my way to success. With my family by my side, Lord knows what's next. Yeah, shoot where the king came down and bore it all. I know a few things, never claimed to know it all. But I know it's off, never noticed y'all.